In 2002, at the height of the AIDS pandemic, Sister Margaret Farley, a Sister of Mercy, who was a distinguished professor of ethics at Yale for many, many years, she was invited by the White House to the conference on AIDS. And as a result of that, Yale Divinity decided that they wanted to host a conference more specifically about what should the collective church do in response to AIDS. Everyone was invited to this conference at Yale. Many of the people, theologians and others, were sisters, sister theologians. And Margaret, I think, either invited them for coffee or a glass of wine, I'm not sure which, and said, I'm a Sister of Mercy, and what can we do to help you? We're sisters. And they said in a very simple way, get us the resources we need to come together and figure it out ourselves. It was the sisters in Africa, Margaret, and then she got another Sister of Mercy, Eileen Hogan, to work with her. They went to Nairobi for the first conference in 2002 and to be with the sisters. It's there that they decided to create this kind of organization. And in those conversations, the sisters began to articulate what they began to recognize were skills that they didn't feel they had and that they felt would be helpful. Most importantly, I think what they articulated was the need to help people with trauma and to have some basic counseling skills that would help them help others. It's a very different reality than we're experiencing here in the U.S. And when Sister to Sister first started out, there were other countries involved, sisters from other countries. Eventually, Margaret and Eileen began to say, if this is going to continue, each country needs some kind of leaders. And it's those 6 countries who really came through.
I am Sister Celestine Lindrio. I belong to the missionary congregation of Mary, Mother of the Church.
My name is Mary Vincent Gladys Mgadza. I come from Zimbabwe. I'm a Zimbabwean by citizen. And I'm also a senior lecturer at the University of Zimbabwe.
I am Sister Felicitas Lukong. I am a sister of St. Therese of the Child Jesus of Boya in Cameroon.
I'm Sister Juliet Chingambo from Zambia. I belong to the Sisters of the Child Jesus.
I'm a Sister Lucy Nkendelin Esedebe, a missionary sister of Our Lady of Apostles.
I'm Sister Stivelia MacLeod, belonging to the congregation of the Servants of the Blessed Virgin Mary Sisters.
I am the coordinator for the Sister to Sister in Uganda. And this is all because, the benefit that I have received from Sister to Sister.
For me, it's an extension of my congregational family, also an extension of the religious community. I became a teacher basically because I have interest in the youth. I wanted really to explain the concepts to them, and I really believe to say, once I impart knowledge and skill in them, they are going to develop my country. And it's from them that we are going to have a lot of sisters who have the wisdom and who are well-trained, and that's what moves me even right now to teach effectively.
I grew up in a religious environment. We had religious teaching us in school, and they inspired me by the way they sacrificed their lives to do a lot of things for us, to make us become better girls and better women. At 19, I joined the sisters. I really just wanted to live a life that they were living, to sacrifice, to serve a lot of people, to help people who were suffering.
Then we also have learned to face the challenges. Mostly when I meet a challenge or when I face resistance, I could go back. But sister to sister has helped me to forge ahead.
Sister to sister, as the name connotes, we are religious women and we understand ourselves and we understand where we walk. And because we are people of like minds who understand themselves, I think we'll be able to manage what we have.
These sisters, they have got their own full-time ministry assigned by their congregation. So sometimes they just have a little time to dedicate themselves to the activities of sister to sister, and this becomes one of the biggest challenges. One of the strengths that I see in working with these sisters in the continent is it enables them in decision making.
Having Sister Annalise join us in a more defined way as the senior program officer was a really an important step for sister to sister. She's closer to the sisters. She understands their issues in a way that I will never understand them.
By having somebody like me in the continent, I always bring the sisters together last monthly, and we discuss what each country is doing.
She's a good administrator and a good problem solver, and she has a leadership style that is very inclusive of the sisters, and it tries to work with them and in figuring out the solutions. It's made a huge difference in this organization. Sub-Saharan Africa was the epicenter of the AIDS pandemic. It's still the epicenter of the AIDS pandemic. The sisters in Sub-Saharan Africa were faced with that.
People had their parents, brothers and sisters who were infected. The stress was much. That time it was not very easy to get treatment. It was not very easy to get antiretrovirals. So sisters were under a lot of stress.
Being a victim of the effects of HIV and AIDS, I lost a brother, I lost a sister, I lost friends, and so many people whom I knew I used to work with. So when this association came into being, actually I was moved. It really addressed the areas where I could not maybe tackle on my own.
Their ability to figure out how to network that they had figured out during the AIDS pandemic is what they immediately put in motion with the COVID pandemic. So we were able to find resources, send to each of the countries. They used that sister-to-sister network, and they managed to get themselves together through WhatsApp and Zoom and so forth, and go to some very remote areas of their countries to try to help people that really didn't have help. It's the networking, it's the collaboration, it's the empowerment, and we can figure it out for ourselves, I think is really the real value of the sister-to-sister ministry or mission. The sisters in Africa don't always have the same educational background that many of the sisters here were given. They will do in Africa what sisters did here to change the church and to change society. But they need more opportunity for education, skills building, and empowerment of themselves as leaders and taking their rightful place as leaders. Not just in their congregations or because they're in charge of a school, but leaders in their communities, in their villages, in their cities, where they can make significant change or advocate for change and feel that they have the voice and the right to do that.
One thing that sister to sister is doing to make sure to respond to these multiple challenges is how can the sisters learn to make money for their own mission. Okay? And with that, we are training the sisters how to sustain their mission. How can they raise money locally? How can they do investing? How can they manage the resources that they have? Okay, so we are doing that with all the sisters in all the countries. We have trained a team of sisters in every country, and we have sent them back in their own countries, train others. We have trained close to 285 sisters in mission sustainability.
Most of my time has been in training learners into the profession, as I also listen to others who come to get help from me. So I mentor, I train, I teach.
I am able to identify funding organizations, write to them, present myself better than I could do when I didn't have the training, and then I raise funds to help me work for other people and for other sisters.
So we have been empowered with the skills on how to plan, how to fundraise, how to mobilize people, and also empower them with the skills that can help them to manage.
It's helping the sisters who are in turn going to help hundreds and thousands of people that we can't even give a number to at this point. There's a sense of them working together as a team, that they are in different countries. They might have some different realities and some different challenges, but they have lots to learn from one another, and they really can support one another in unique ways.
With sister to sister, it has brought us even closer. It has made, we don't even see ourselves as far apart anymore, because we have programs. We at least we visited several countries that are under AACSS, and when we get there, we share. And when we get there, we begin to make friends.
There we share experiences, especially it's like we report what we have managed to do during that month, and also sometimes we share our plans. So in so doing, and even the challenges and the experiences. So in so doing, I learn a lot from my friends.
You don't feel that you are different from the other. You feel you are one you are one with each other. And you sit together and you feel at home. I go to Nigeria, I'll feel at home. I go to Cameroon, I feel, I am part of them. We are all one people.
We operate together, we plan together, we execute together, and we report. So just that aspect of having to work together because of sister to sister has helped to bring us together.
Before sister to sister came into our lives, we were all strangers, but now we are sisters.
Looking at the future, I would say what inspires me as I look at the sisters assuming kind of more definite positions of leadership in Africa, it gives me a lot of hope. It's clear that this model of empowering these women, giving them the opportunity to come together to collaborate and to network among themselves, has power in itself.
The program gives us some kind of hope for the future. There are still people out there who care about us no matter what we are going through. There are people out there who are ready to help us no matter what. So it gives us a lot of energy to go on.
It is an extension of our congregational institutes. So actually it complements our values as women religious.
We become a universal union of religious sisters that come together, that we are no longer strangers, but we are one in Christ, one in spirit, and we share common as members of the church. This is my big dream for sister to sister.
It's just wonderful to see these younger women, religious in very different congregations and very different cultures, really continue this wonderful legacy of religious life that has, kind of transformed many cultures over the years. People should be motivated to support Sister to Sister because it's an investment. It's an investment in very creative, talented women religious on another continent who are going to do extraordinary things to help the people in those countries who are desperate for some changes, desperate for opportunities to improve their lives and their families' lives. And I think these sisters are a huge part of the solution there.